Let's draw this wall section. I'm going to turn off this thing called axes. That's this red and green line. It's kind of getting in the way. Turn those things off. Perfect. Let's begin by drawing this wall. We're going to draw it piece by piece and kind of learn as we go. Every wall we're going to draw is going to be made up of a bottom of the wall, a top of the wall, and some vertical members that connect the top to the bottom. We'll give them names as we go, so kind of watch along here. We begin by drawing this bottom of the wall. We're going to call it a bottom plate. A bottom plate. It's going to be 16 feet by 1.5 inches. So it's a 16-foot long 2x6, but we're going to draw it up on edge. Why are we going 1.5, not 2? Well, it's because when they mill this lumber from the sawmill, they'll cut it 2 inches by 6 inches, and then surface it down, clean it up, sand it smooth, and it reduces the stuff down to a 5.5 inch by 1.5 inches. So that's why the 1.5 comes from. So 16 feet by 1.5. I'm going to go to camera, pick the one called Zoom Extents to zoom in on it. There's my bottom plate. So it's a 16-foot long 2x6 up on edge. I'm not going to extrude it to the thickness yet. I'm keeping it paper thin. We'll have a bottom plate and a top plate. Top plate's the exact same. I'm going to select this whole plate. I'm just going to go to Control-C for copy, Control-V for paste, and see how it kind of grabbed the left edge of that board. I'm going to go over to my board I already drew, stack them together, and then slowly move it upward. I have a small, faint line, showing that they're lined up. I'm going to get my edges lined up and drop it right there. Okay? So here are my plates. Oops, didn't work. Undo that. Try it again. Copy, paste. Bring it up, drop it. Okay, got it. Good. There it is. Camera, zoom extends, zoom back out again. Here's my plates. I'm going to begin by marking out where the locations of all my wall studs will go, the vertical members that connect the bottom to the top. This gap is too small right now. Of course, we'll move it bigger later. For now, it works for measuring some stuff up here. So I'm going to zoom in on this corner of the wall. All right. I'm going to first locate, we'll call it, yeah, okay, tape measure. I'm going to go not from a corner, but somewhere on the edge. So I'm in the edge and the little red box appears, not a dot, but a box. Zoom in, got it, click. I'm going to drag to the right. The first wall stud, it's here they space them out every 16 inches on center. But I want to move the first stud back a little bit, as talked about in class. That way, the any wall paneling you put up, like sheetrock or plywood, it'll land on a seam versus landing on an edge. So 15.25 inches, 15.25. That's the location of my first wall stud. Okay. The next, I'll go 16 on center. So I'm going to go from this mark over 16 inches all the way down the whole board to run a room. Okay. So I'm going to pause real quick and finish this up. So again, it's 15.25 to the first one, and then 16, 16, 16, 16, 16. This very end one here, something you don't need, I'm going to remove it. Okay. Then I'm going to draw in my markers for my wall studs. So I'm just going to go with the pencil tool. I'm just going to do one line across both boards. And basically I don't need later on. So I'm going to draw all these lines in. Do all of these. Be right back. Alright, got my lines drawn in from the bottom of the bottom plate, the top of the top plate. Now I'm going to erase off my dotted lines and this little middle chunk. Base all these off all the way down. Okay, so there I have it. I have my bottom plate and top plate marked out. Same as I do it in at a job site. You see some framers, they'll mark out all their plates before they start building the walls. Here's all my marks. But now we got to figure it out. I marked so I went from left to right. From left to right. I need to put a little marker as to a small little letter X. Oops. And I go to just draw freehand. I'm just going to kind of draw a small little X on this side of the line. That way I know when I start putting my wall studs in, that's going to land on this side of that line. So make an X, marks a spot of the location. So I'm going to copy this X all my boards. So I'm just copying and pasting these little X's I made in all those spots. There, I got them all done. All spots marked. Except for this very, very first spot. So I need a very first wall stud. So I'm going to paste a couple more. Put one on this side. And I'm putting one over here. And then same for the very last stud. So first stud and the last stud. I'm just going to put an X. That way, and start to frame this out for real, I'll know that, hey, here's where the stud's going to go. It'll go on the X side of the line, with the exception of the first and last. They go even on the edge. So there are my locations for the wall studs. Okay, now I got to mark the location for the door and the window. So we'll do that here quickly here too. Door and window. I'm going to zoom in on my left edge. The plans call for the door being the door is 5 feet in from the left edge. I click, drag over. I'm going to go 5 feet, hit enter. That's the edge of my door. There it is. And then it calls for the door. It's a 30-inch wide door. 30-inch wide door. Well, here's the left edge of my door. I'm going to go over 30 more inches. Door's left edge, door's right edge. Okay? And the plans also call for the window being 10 feet from this left edge. So then zoom back in, measure over 10 feet. 10 feet. Where is it? There it is. And my window is a 36-inch window. Here's my window's left edge. We go over 36 from my right edge. So there I have a doorway and a window. Okay, let's mark the marks for those pieces. Do the door first. The door is going to have a left and a right. So I'm going to begin by drawing in. I'm going to draw what's a standard line from bottom plate to top plate, bottom to top plate, and then you erase off what I don't need. I don't need that line or that line. Okay. For doors, this stud's going to get in the way. I remove it. That stud's in the way. Remove it. So I'm cutting these studs out. Okay. Cut those studs out. And I'm going to have to make this be the edge of my door, edge of my door. Alright, so typically for a door, we're going to kind of stack two 2x6s together face to face. So I'm going to have to zoom back in and measure from here over 1.5 inches and from here over 1.5. I'm going to stack two 2x6s together face to face. There they are. I'm going to draw on those lines from plate to plate. And I'll show you in a minute what we're doing here. And erase off the middle line and middle line. Alright. So I'm going to have the wall studs that go on the left edge and the right edge of a door. They're called a trimmer stud. on an actual door in a house, that little decorative piece that wraps around a door, it's called door trim. Trimmer stud goes in the door so you can nail or fasten the trim to a trimmer stud. So I want to make a mark of a letter T just so I know that here is going to land a trimmer stud. And I'm just going to take this T, copy and paste it on all 4 locations. Trimmer, trimmer, and one more. And then next to my trimmer stud, it's going to be a standard wall stud. So I'm going to copy and paste, oops, that wall stud mark. So here I have my location of my trimmer stud, lands here, and a wall stud next to it. So I'm bundling 2 studs face to face. Trimmer, wall, trimmer, wall. And then I could make a mark, this is my doorway, with some letters or text, but that's fine for now. There's a door. Windows similarly. I have this here, same kind of concept. I have a left and a right side of my window, which again would be like the door. So I make those marks the same way. Be right back. Okay, so here I marked, there. Here I marked is my Windows left edge, or Windows right edge, trimmer stud paired up with a normal stud. Trimmer stud, normal stud. For the window, I want to keep these locations of these wall studs. Why? Because the window doesn't go from floor to ceiling. The window's in the middle of the wall. I have studs below it. Studs below it. Keep these. Keep these. Trimmer stud, wall stud. Here's one of my 69 center studs. Yes, they're close together, but that's kind of how it's going to be. All right. Next, let's move these plates apart. Start putting some the boards in, and that we'll do in the in part 2 of the assignment. So for part 1, we got our bottom plate, our top plate. We've marked 16 on center. The last stud, the first stud. We located the location of our door and our window. And that's ready to go for part 1 is now complete.